And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
All right, we are back. It is the Weighing In podcast number 225. We're talking 2 1/4. That is a perfect weight. Something you, my man, Josh Thompson, should be weighing about this time since you eat and are not working out like you used to. 225 is the perfect weight.
You said 2 1/4, and I got lost for a second. Math.
There goes math.
Yeah, two pennies, a quarter. Okay, anyways.
We got a bunch to talk about. There's so much going on in the world of MMA. Some of the people involved in the world of MMA. We just had Sean Strickland putting on a very clean and surgeon-like performance against Jack Hermansson. I believe that he definitely got the win. I was surprised that Sal D'Amato went with Hermansson in that, but that's what happens sometimes in fights, and that's why you got 3 judges, and the right man won, so that's what we care about. What did you think of that fight real quick?
It left a lot to be desired.
Okay.
That's what I
Maybe.
thought of it. But let's get in some mainstream news. Regarding one of our friends.
All right, we're going to leave the fight.
We are going to leave the fight.
Or are we going to just fight?
No, we're not going to fight. No, we're going to talk about Joe Rogan and all the controversy that's surrounding him. And John, I mean, I'm just going to be very upfront for all of our listeners, and you guys can take it however you want. Joe Rogan is a friend of mine. Joe Rogan will always be a friend of mine. And Joe Rogan is a very kind person. He's got a good heart. He does a lot, and he's done a lot for this podcast and helping us, and sometimes, pushing us in directions that have benefited us and sometimes not, but that has nothing to do with him in terms of like people that we have worked with that just didn't fit our needs. But he has given us a path in how to actually help with our show. And our show has grown because of him, but in terms of him helping us and guiding us. That all being said, I've known Joe for a long time. And I'm not going to get into the breakdown of it all. He is someone who's got a big heart. He's somebody that all he's doing is trying to create dialogue to seek the truth. And it doesn't matter who he has on and what the information is. He lets people talk, and he lets them plead their case, whatever it is. And he sometimes will rebuttal them, and sometimes he won't. And sometimes he'll agree with them, and sometimes he will literally get on them and say, hey, this is not the way it is. This is not what you guys said. This is not how these facts or these things work. All of those things being said, but he does it in a way, that long format that not many people that I've ever been around can do or ever seen do, and do it in a way that is very respectful and leaves a lot to like continue to want to watch and be desired. Like, I want to watch more. I want to listen to more. I want to hear from everyone. I want to hear from both sides. I want to hear everything that he presents, and the way he structures his information and the way he structures his comments is to make sure that it's not one-sided. He's pulling out more information from people and letting them discuss what they believe. And John, he is a very good person who, and all of the levels, in podcast Dave will even, I think, say this, there are comments all over social media right now for people that are trying to block him, cancel him, whatever. But there is a ton of people trying, 100% trying to support him and saying what I just said a second ago about him helping he doesn't need to help us. He doesn't need to help not just us, but all of the people that he works with or friends with or becomes friends with, fighters that, he could say that they're pretty much beneath him. They're not on his level. They don't bring, whatever it is they don't bring to the table. That's not him. He's brought every single person, and he tries to bring them into a level that could be possibly is equal to them. He's talked people into doing things that will be beneficial to them. And I'll give you a perfect example, and almost everyone here that's listening to the show will 100% agree. He took Brendan Schaub out of the fight game and put him on a platform that he created. Brendan created it on his own. I get it. But he helped him get to the point of where Brendan is now. And I think Brendan will 100% tell you that. And I just believe that he has done that for so many people, that he has got such a big heart. And for this to be happening, you guys got to start looking at what the objectives are for everyone on the outside. And that's what, just take an open mind and look at it from the outside. Don't look at anything other than the fact that why is this happening to someone who's got such a huge following? And remember, if it can be done to him, it can be done to anybody. And do you want to be one day that person? That's pretty much all I'm going to say about this. I mean, I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan, and he's a friend of mine. We want to thank mybookie.ag. We want you guys to actually hit mybookie.ag and use our promo code weighing in. We've got the Super Bowl coming up next weekend, and we got Izzy Adesanya.
Go Rams!
Yeah, let's not do the Rams thing. Let's go Bengals.
Oh, no. Look at you jump ship because they beat your Chiefs.
No,
if you were smart and you had bet with my bookie on the Bengals, look at where you'd be today, Josh Thompson.
I am so sorry, but I'm not a fan of those type of teams that the best team that money can buy. I'm not a fan of those teams. It doesn't matter what sport it is. I am not a fan. But hey, mybookie.ag, you can go ahead and hit all your gambling needs or betting needs that you would need for the Super Bowl, as well as you got Israel Adesanya fighting Whittaker. That's going to be an absolute great fight. It's a rematch. Cannot wait to watch that fight. That card is also stacked. That will be on Saturday, so make sure you guys take a listen to us on Tuesday when we go ahead and break that all down as well. We will give you our ideas on how you guys should possibly bet, where you should lean, and we will go through on weighing in on the odds and check that out, because that will give you guys a good idea of how we suggest you guys go for in-between round bettings, for each round betting, or any way that we think the fight may go. Take our advice, don't take our advice, but we're just hoping you guys use mybookie.ag. Use that promo code weighing in. We want to thank you guys for supporting us and supporting mybookie.ag. Use that QR code right there too. That'll give you a little extra spending cash for your first initial deposit. Mybookie.ag, promo code weighing in.
Well, you know, I agree with you in that, first off, Joe Rogan's a friend of mine. And I'm going to say that I've known Joe since UFC 12. That's when he was first hired to be the backstage guy. It was this actually pretty thin, skinny comedian guy that I was like, who the fuck is this guy? He had hair. He's a good-looking guy. And I started talking to him in the airport and talking fights and talking things. And we started just really talking martial arts, because he was coming from this Taekwondo background. And honestly, immediately I was kind of like, oh, shit. But then he started telling me I'm training with Carlson Gracie and I'm doing this and doing that. And what about this? And immediately you could see, hey, this guy he's got a pretty good grasp of what's going on in this. And hey, this guy's kind of smart. And I'm going to say this about it. People are always going to take shots at people at the top. Joe Rogan is at the top. Joe Rogan is as good a human being. He doesn't have a racist bone in his body. He's as good a human being as you'll find. He has done exactly what you said. He has started more podcasts for people, helped them start, got them going, told them this is what you need to do, and pushed them in that direction and given them that shove that they needed to actually get it going, and has changed people's lives in that fashion. He's done things as far as what people don't know about Joe and what he's done for people. I've been all over the world. I've seen all kinds of unbelievable things. I've seen horrible things in my life. I've seen fantastic things in my life. And I've seen a lot of different people. And I've seen some people that, you know, other people on the outside say, oh, he's a great guy. Nope, he's not. He's evil. I can tell you that right now just by being around him. Joe Rogan is one of the good guys. He's one of those guys that, like I said, he would give you the shirt off his back if he thought that your purpose was right. He doesn't have that mean bone in him. And I'm just going to say this. Anybody out there who thinks that, you know, you can sit here and say that you never did something that a year, 10 years down the line, someone's going to say that was wrong. We all have, because, you know, we're human beings. And sometimes, you know, we have drank too much. And, you know, we're getting stupid with our friends, and it's possible, you know, you can say something. You can't go back in time and take something from the past and bring it to the future. You have people that want to try to cancel Joe because Joe has become pretty much the news or the media that you can trust in this world. And all I can tell you is this: if you don't like Joe Rogan, that's okay. That is your choice. Doesn't bother me in the least. but I will always support Joe Rogan. I will always tell you he's a good guy. I will always, to the last dying breath I have, no, he doesn't have a racist bone in his body. He's a good human being, and I only wish the best for him in the past, at the present, and in the future.
I can't even tell you how many times I've woken up after a night of drinking and go, geez, what did I do?
Well, I've been there with you a couple of times, and I can tell you, you're right.
Look, life is about progress.
Yeah.
Life is not about what you did when you were 15,
better.
When you were 18, when you were 25.
Oh, my God.
If you judged me, like John and I, John knew me when I was 25, when I was 22, 23. But it was like, he didn't know me, but I'm sure when he was around me then, he's like, this dumb kid. I was not even near the same person I am now. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still like to joke around, but there's a lot more tact to it. I mean, I have fun. It's just different now. Like, you understand the guidelines and the boundaries of other people. To sit here and say that what anybody did, I don't give a crap who it is. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years. I mean, I've even heard people trying to get canceled from 25 years ago. Are you kidding me? You're not even the same person.
Nope.
The things that go through my head now, even from the time I was 30 to the time I'm now, 43, 44, whatever. Okay. Like I'm not even the same person. Don't even think the same. I have no desire to be that person that I was then. And to think that they're trying to hold this man accountable for things that were done that long ago, as well as when he gave his explanation, I understand exactly what he's talking about. And I just continue to say that he's somebody that has helped so many people. And I don't even want to say just so many people. I was actually just thinking about this the other day, and then I read someone tweeted it right when I was thinking about it. When they were talking about removing his show from Spotify, or people trying to get him removed, I said, what about all the things that he has done, like in terms of like SeaWorld? He's trying to remove, or help to get these orcas out of these little small confined areas in SeaWorld and demonstrate. These are things that he's having a world impact. That's just one thing. I mean, I could go on and on, about other things, but the simple thing is he's not just affecting things that you around your neighborhood and around your community and around our country. This is worldwide. He wouldn't have so many people listening to him if he was just in the United States. He's worldwide. People every week they get in their car or they do whatever, they get to work and they put him on. They put his podcast on because they want to hear both sides and they want to hear his questions on how he formulates the questions, because it makes him think. It really does. It makes people think about, man, I never thought about it that way. I couldn't tell you how many times I've listened to his show and been like, damn, I didn't even think about it that way. You know what? That's a good question. And then the person answers and I'm like, okay, now I start to see your side. Because I was very adamant about a lot of things when I was younger. And now all of a sudden,
because you knew you were right.
Yeah, but I wasn't.
You were.
And then you listen to other people's perspective on things, and the way the question is formulated, which Joe does very well, it helps me to understand. And those are the type of people that love listening to his show. That's why his numbers are triple what all of these other networks are. And I think he's a threat to them, and they are really making a push to get him taken down. Because he does what he's doing because he loves doing it, not because he has an agenda. Don't get me wrong. He's getting paid. He's making money. But he started doing this when he wasn't getting paid and making money. And so he just continues to do it. And in this process, he has made a lot of people successful. Whether it's fighters having him on the show, which fighters, when they're done fighting, he's talked about them. Even Juliana Pena, when he was just talking to her the other day, he was talking about what you can do after fighting. He brought up our podcast. This is the thing. He's like, you can do a podcast. He's like, yeah, even if it's only like a short one, just sit down, talk about one thing that you're passionate about, in terms of the fight and what you saw, and that's it. And then leave it at that. He's giving ideas on what they can do. He's done it for so many people in every type of field. And so I'm going to continue to say he's a good person and he's a friend of mine. He'll always be a friend of mine.
The last thing you got to go with is take a look at what he said. He apologized. Hey, I look at it now. I'm appalled by what I said because it's stupid. And you are talking about, and that word is a horrible word. I don't use it. I don't even think about ever it. It's bad. I don't do it. I've had big conversations with like Herb Dean, and we've sat down and talked about that word and why it's important for the African-American community to be able to use it, and it empowers them. And if that's what it does, I understood what he was talking about. I said, okay, great. But it's a strange situation when you look at a word that certain people can use and it's okay, and then certain people cannot because it's never okay, and it's a bad word and it should be just gone. It's stupid. It's not something that anybody needs to say. But I think he apologized in the best possible way he could, and all I can say is, hey, if you don't like Joe, that's your choice. It's okay. It's a free country, and you should be able to make those choices. But I will always support and have the back of Joe Rogan. So it's the way it is.
You know, you guys could have just said, thanks, Joe, for mentioning us on the Pena podcast instead of that 10-minute rant. But okay.
No, I mean, he's mentioned John several times. I have Dave pretty much do the short clips of every time he mentions me because, I mean, he always does it in a very
positive fashion.
Positive fashion. And I admire him for that because he doesn't need to do that to people. I mean, the guy's worth a ton of money. The guy's super successful. He's at the top.
The money doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to him. Like he doesn't, like when people, if you guys remember when he went to Spotify and people were like, oh man, you signed this huge deal. Every show you ever listen to him, when someone tries to get it out of him, he just starts asking questions. He doesn't even get into what his deal was. And, he doesn't even talk about it. That's it. Like he just wants to get right to you. Like, look, personal, like money, it's not an issue, like not a big deal. He's done a lot of good things, man. And he's going to continue to do a lot of good things because I don't believe this is gonna happen.
But do you think? Let me ask you this. The whole thing is, look at Joe's first thing. His first love is comedy, and comedians say things all the time that are freaking whacking out there, and just you go. That's what makes you laugh at times is the craziness of what they're saying, and it's almost like a catch-22. You can't win because he's a comedian, and you can say that, and he does use a lot of. Not his comedy stick, but his comedy personality, his comedic personality on his podcast. And he's telling funny stories and he's doing things, crazy things that happen. And a lot of it's when he's higher on DMT or any of those things. This is where, man, I just don't understand how people can't figure out that, who you are at 30 is not who you are at 35, and the things that you like at 30 is not what you're going to like at 35 all the time. And when you're 40, it's going to completely change again. And then it's just the way life goes. And you learn to be smarter about things. You learn to hopefully be better about things. I talk to people all the time and say, man, if I die tomorrow, I'd die a happy dude because I've been able to do so much, but man, if I had to go back in time and I had to be the same person I was 25, 30, 40 years ago and not have the knowledge that I have now, I don't want to do that. No. That's just because you're supposed to evolve.
Yep.
That's what life's about. Let's talk about fights.
Is. All right, let's get into
the
fights.
Can we talk about fights?
Yeah, let's talk about the fights. We'll get into it. I mean, let's talk about it. There was a lot of strategy tonight in the co-main and the main event tonight.
Oh, so you're saying they were slow and boring is what you're saying.
Well, last time I said that, everyone's like, you're such a Bellator homer.
Oh,
and I didn't even bring up Bellator.
It cracks me up how someone can compare when you're talking about a fight that you saw. Do you even care who the promotion is? I don't give a damn.
It's either a good fight or it's not.
Exactly. Either the guy can fight or he can't. Either that was a good fight between those two ladies or it wasn't. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I thought Sean fought a good fight, a smart fight, was never in any danger, had great takedown defense. I would have to agree that he needed to have more output, to solidify, the win. I thought he won the fight.
He did.
I don't think it was a split. I thought he won.
But it's all right.
Yeah, but that being said, if you want to jump I think I was listening to Paul Felder a little bit there, and he said something like he normally does. That's right on. If you want to jump the line to get to the title shot for the winner of Izzy and Whittaker, you got to have a dominant performance going into it.
Got to have some flash on it, man.
Yeah. And so whoever's fighting next, right? There's another group, I think Brunson and somebody else is fighting. If they have a good performance, they're going to jump the line right to the title shot.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so when I look at this, Paul Felder was correct on that situation. Sean Strickland needed to have a more dominant performance. He was touching him. He was letting him know he was there. He never really lost control of the fight. But when it came down to it, it was like each round was kind of close. I mean, a little bit. I mean, like, sure, he was winning, but it was like, if you look at it this way, the rounds were kind of like Sean was winning, but had Hermansson got a takedown and maybe threatened a submission, or if he just jumped to a guillotine, that could have potentially tied it up.
Or if he just landed one clean shot that put Sean on his butt.
Yeah, won the round.
This we'll talk about it in a second, but, there's those fights. Sam Alvey came out. He was actually looking good against Brendan Allen. He was landing clean shots. He hurt Brendan Allen. Yeah. And he got dropped right near the end of the round. And all that good work that he did, those judges all went with Brendan Allen in that round. And that can happen. And this is where, if you're Sean Strickland and you got a good win, it was a clean win in my opinion, but it should get your attention that one of the judges went with your opponent, which is telling you you're not making it clear enough. Mm-hmm. You need to step on the gas a little bit more. You need to open up those shots a little bit more. What we were seeing out of you in those last 10 seconds, that almost Max Holloway, Ricardo Lamas fight where, stand in the middle and let's throw down, kind of tried to call, Hermansson into that, and Hermansson kind of responded a little bit, but you need more of that. You need to have those moments in the fight where it just becomes clear that you're the guy totally in control and you're landing the big shots. You're landing the heavier blows. It's not just you are winning the game of I'm touching you a little more than you're touching me, because that can go against you. And hopefully he figures it out and just, look, he's fighting well. And I said it going into this. He was undefeated in the middleweights. He's been looking really good. He's got very good wrestling defense. We, talked about it and said he's hard to take down. And he is, which, Hermansson's, wrestling is decent. It's not great, but he made him work to try to take him down. Couldn't do it, and it kept it in the range that he wanted. Sean looked good, but he just needs to understand, you just got to up the ante. You got to step on the gas more. You got to pepper him more and bring those combos more. When he would do he would jab, a double jab and come to a body shot. It's open the entire fight. It was always there. So why are you not going to it consistently to make him have to change to where he opens it up so then you can put on that knockout type of blow? But good fight. I just hope that he learns from the win. Just up that gas level a little bit. Not that he's tired. He's obviously got gas, but he's got to step on that gas a little bit more.
I'm going to get a lot of heat for this because people are going to call me a homer, but I'm going to be what I saw tonight out of Sean Strickland. Now, I'm not going based off of what I've seen before. I'm just going based off tonight. This Sean Strickland, I don't think would have beat Luke Rockhold. The reach, the range. I mean, he got hit some clean. Yeah, different fight. Totally different fight. But I mean, Luke has got a little bit better wrestling, I think, than Hermansson. I think he's got better jiu-jitsu than Hermansson. But on the feet, though, like the reach and the range, the body kick, all
Luke's
those things.
Luke's a faster fighter than Hermansson.
Yeah, he is.
So
he is.
It's just a different
more rangier, too. It is a different fight, but I just, from what I saw tonight,
but
I don't think
I'll say this. I think Hermansson takes a better shot than him.
That's true.
So
that's true. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that could change. We'll see when Luke comes back in a fight. But as of right now, Hermansson's got a chin, man. He can take some shots, man. And he's proved it with a lot of guys, proved it with Vittori, just proved it again with Strickland. He took some hard shots, just kept on coming. So
the reason why I brought up the Luke thing is because they were supposed to fight.
Yeah, I know.
And then that fight fell off.
Yeah.
So that's why I brought it up, because I think if Luke does come back, they may want to try to insert Luke back into the Strickland situation because they're both training down in the Costa Mesa area there.
Well, no. Strickland is now in Vegas.
Oh, is he now?
Yeah.
Oh, is that with that's right, with Eric.
He's with Extreme Couture.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's a great coaching tonight by him in the corner.
Yeah. Always.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Always.
Yeah, see,
man, I try to tell people.
Yeah, he's good.
Eric Nixick is a phenomenal coach. He's great in the gym, and he's fantastic at telling his guys when they're doing good. He kind of is like almost like a giddy little girl in a way. He gets all excited. He's, are we having fun and all that stuff?
Yeah.
When he has to get on them, he gets on them, but he always gives them good information.
Yeah.
And that's what you want out of your coach.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. It was good. Listening to him, I was like, very well done, my man. Very well done. When you were saying about how the round was how the rounds were close, and that one judge actually gave it to Hermansson, and the reason why is because he didn't put a stamp on it.
Right.
But let me give you an example, like you said about someone being dropped. Right. If Hermansson was able to sit him to the butt, then that would have won Hermansson the round. Could have been whatever it was. But the same thing happened. The round was super close in round 2, and he didn't really even hit him. He actually just kind of pushed him over, Hermansson, and he fell down. But it was the last thing that happened in the round.
That's right.
That one on the round.
How much do you want to bet that all 3 judges gave that round to Strickland?
Based on just that one knockdown, which it was really just a slip.
Yeah, it was really off balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that just lets you know that had it been the other way around, they would have given Hermansson the round.
Yeah.
Because it was a close round. Next fight.
Well, the next fight was Nick Maximov from the 205 in Stockton, California against Punahele Soriano, which I thought was
209.
Is it 209? Is it 209?
Yeah, it's 209.
I said 205, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I had screwed up. It's the 305 in Miami. I'm sorry.
They're gonna give you a slap next time they see
Yeah,
you, Nick.
All right, now I guess I need to get a tattoo like John Anik. But
it's crazy.
You look at this. The only thing I kept thinking the entire time was, this guy, he trains out of, Nick Diaz's gym. He had Nate Diaz there. He talks like he's, from Stockton with these guys. But Nick and Nate are always complaining about wrestlers. They're always complaining about wrestlers, man.
Yeah.
And Maximov, hey, I don't blame him. I thought he fought smart. He was trying to use his wrestling, but he slowed the fight down. He, got into Soriano, and I thought it was the right decision that Maximov won the fight. I thought he won the last 2 rounds, but there's no way that he won all 3 rounds.
Got it.
But tough fight.
Yeah, it was one of those tough fights. Yeah, I don't want to say too much. It's like it's the wrestling aspect of it all, but with no damage.
Well, that's the whole point.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Soriano was scrambling.
Yeah, but
getting to the top, and
Soriano wins the first round.
Back to the feet.
It's not only that, but think of the knee that he landed on Maximov. That crunched him in the face, put him on his butt. That was a beautiful knee as far as the way it landed. Everything he did in the first round, I thought it was pretty clear that Soriano won that round. Second round, he was winning, and then Maximov's wrestling started to take over, and he just wasn't able to become as offensive. And I think that, the judges are supposed to look and say that, hey, what took place more in the round? Was it striking or was it grappling? Well, it was grappling because, Maximov was the one dictating that that's what it was going to be. And then in the third round, I thought it was pretty simple to say Soriano didn't have any real offensive output at all. He was defensive the whole time. So pretty simple fight as far as to judge.
Yeah, I think when you get into, you were expecting a little bit more out of the co-main.
I think that's what it was.
And then, it just kind of was like, okay. I don't even know how you say this guy's name. Shavkat?
Rachmanov?
Yeah, Rachmanov. Is it Shavkat, his first name?
Yeah.
Shavkat
Rachmanov. He's good.
Yeah, he is good.
Dude, he's good.
Is he that good, though?
Yeah, he's that good.
In terms of opponents, don't get me wrong. He's doing well. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Okay.
He's supposed to be getting rid of these guys.
And he is. Every one of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Every one of them.
Yep.
Okay. So he's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. This is a guy that, how many fights does he have in the UFC? 3 or 4 now? He's gotten rid of every opponent there. He has gotten rid of all of his opponents, not only 15-0, never going to a judge's decision. Pretty impressive. The guy can fight. He's he's
good.
He's pretty stiff in the, in his approach. He's pretty basic in his approach. He does have, he's got some nice kicks and some good spinning attacks, but he's pretty,
tonight.
But he's also got good, his Greco-Roman is actually really good. He's got good body locks. He doesn't go to the legs a lot, but his body locks and his ability to off balance you and sweep the legs out and stuff, he does a great job.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. for him, I look at it more just what's to be desired. Let's see him get to the next level of competition. You know, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing and getting these guys out of here. But let's get him up into that conversation. I mean, maybe give him a top 15. You know, like number 15 or 16, somewhere in there. Let's start making a little bit of gains here, because he's dispatching of the people he's supposed to be doing it. And he looks good. He looks dominant. I agree with you. He looks stiff. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Korean Zombie. I mean, not that stiff. The way he kind of like just,
I think that's a pretty good, fair assessment.
He kind of has because Zombie kind of walks around like this and just kind of comes forward and takes shots. But, this guy, he's got a lot of movement. He's stiff, but he still kind of keeps his head offline. Doesn't really get hit a whole lot. Like you said, he's got spinning attacks. He's good. He's real good at mixing it up. Good performance by him tonight. Let's see, Brendan Allen and Sam Alvey.
Yeah.
We talked about this the last week. I mean, you got to start thinking, man. It's time to, he's got 6 losses or 7. I think he's got 6 losses in a row plus the draw, right?
No, I think he's got 7 losses with 1 draw in his last 8 fights.
7, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, Sam Alvey is a great guy. I mean, as nice a human being as you'll find, fun to be around. It's just that, you can't put Sam in this type of fight, and with the record that he has on the May card also, that's where you're looking, you're going, if you're going to keep him, that's okay. I mean, he's still at the beginning of this fight, he started to look good. He was throwing more than just the ones, and that was the real problem. He got into just throwing ones, and he was, throwing one shot. He threw some combinations, and he definitely hurt Allen. He definitely stung him to where Allen was feeling it, but by the end of the round, he got bombed, and he was definitely hurting that. And then, the second round, Allen did exactly what he should have done. He started stepping on the gas a little bit more pressure. I don't know why Sam has grown into this. He only fights basically within that 5-foot range from the fence to that black circle that is out there. It's like, it's not a good place to be.
No.
Why is that's become your home?
Because now when people talk about that space, you're basically fighting your opponent and then fighting the fence.
Yeah, you're fighting both.
You're fighting both. Like, you don't want to get too close to the fence because now your head and your body has nowhere to go, and circling out's not really an option. And then, and now your opponent's right in front of you. You're worried about what he's going to do. He's going to shoot. He's going to strike. You're having to now second guess 2 things. Is he going to shoot or is he going to strike? And the fence behind you. So now there's 3 things that you're worried about. When you get a little bit more out into the center of the cage, you're really just worried about the striking.
Freedom of movement.
Not a lot of people are really out there in the middle of the cage wrestling.
Yeah.
They're trying to drive you to the fence to try to, bounce you off and get a takedown or whatever it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, people are out there, they're learning now that the open mat wrestling is a lot easier to get the takedowns in. Now they've gotten a lot better at wrestling in the open mat. But for the longest time, I mean, for 10, 15 years, people have been using the fence to get the takedowns. And so now people are starting to realize that the open mat wrestling's there, but that wasn't going to be the case tonight.
No.
So yeah. So just it was a good performance by Brendan Allen, and
nice comeback performance for him.
We're gonna see what the UFC decides to do with Sam Alvey. I mean, you got to think, like, here, put it this way: nobody else except for BJ Penn has 7 losses in a row in the UFC and was able to stick around. So I mean, you're talking about a legend, and then and with Sam, it's like, you got to start thinking about cutting your ties. I mean, that's what they're gonna probably do.
I would guess.
Yeah. What did you think on the Brian Battle and Gore fight?
I'm being honest. I thought I like the way Brian Battle fights, as far as he doesn't try to throw. You talk about a guy that goes out and just touch him, touch, and then he throws a beautiful teep down the middle. That front kick down the middle is money for him at times, because he brings it up fast. He chambers it well. He's got some power on it. He doesn't go for the big, knockout blow or anything like that. His opponent, Gore, was definitely going for big knockout blows at time. This is one of those fights where you look at and you go, look at Trishan Gore could have won this fight easily. Mm-hmm. He just made a lot of mistakes, and I think part of it was because, hey, it was that first time in that cage fighting against the guy he was supposed to fight in the Ultimate Fighter finale, and it didn't happen. And he tended to seem, he gassed himself a lot. He was tired at the end. Now, he was still fighting, but Battle had the better gas tank as far as he was feeling fresher near the end. And he was taking the rounds. He lost the second round, no doubt about it. Came out in that third round where both guys knew, I need to win this. And he seemed like the guy that, was more prepared to go win it than Gore was. And I thought Gore is actually the better fighter. He's the more, he's the guy that you look at and he appears that he will present you with more problems.
Yeah.
But Battle's tough. I really enjoy watching him. I like the fact that he sticks within who he is. He doesn't try to, throw those big shots, and he wants to just put volume on you and open you up and then try to get rid of you.
Yeah, you really got to look at when you were a kid and they were picking teams and you were the last one to get picked, and then it put a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way for a lot of people. And in this situation, I think that really he just reverted back to that going to that third round. Like I need to prove to people that, hey, I mean, I'm sure you won the Ultimate Fighter, but there was still a little bit of lingering questions apparently that, and then he goes up there and he's like, look, no, I'm going to keep reminding people that I won that show and that I am getting better.
He did win it.
He's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, he seems a little quirky, but, he's young. He's coming along though. It's a process. So good stuff. I mean, like he came out and he tried to steal the round in the third round, whereas Gore left a lot out, didn't leave enough out there to get the win.
That's it.
That's really what it comes down to.
Just learn from it.
Arosa and Peterson.
All right, if you're going to open up a show, your main
Fight.
card, holy shit. All right, This one was the fight of the night. This one, these guys put, I always tell guys, man, don't leave anything out there. Like if you end up going the distance and you're doing backflips at the end of it, there's a problem because you didn't leave what you could have left there, putting your opponent in a more compromised position if you have that much energy. Yeah. Neither of these guys had energy because they put it all out there. Julian Erosa, I've known him since the Ultimate Fighter and stuff. This guy is a tough son of a bitch, man. There's times when he gets hit and you go, oh, he's done.
Yeah.
And he hangs in there. And Steven Peterson, what a fight. He was exhausted at times and then bit down and just hurt Erosa. And then all of a sudden, Erosa's hurting him. This is, when you're saying snobber blocker, this is a snobber blocker.
No, I agree. Erosa got dropped, I think, in the second round, and then we got back up. They got into a couple exchanges. He hit that spinning back fist, and then dropped Peterson. It was a good back and forth round.
Great fight.
Yeah, it was a really good fight. Look, not technically sound.
No,
I mean,
but that's what
it's so funny.
That sometimes is what makes fights what they're. Go back, Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner. Everyone talks about it. It was a great fight, but technically, no, it was pretty sloppy as far as if you're looking at things.
Yeah,
but that's sometimes is what makes a great fight.
Well, you got to look at too. Like it was on the Ultimate Fighter. Those are fighters that weren't in the UFC.
Yeah.
So like you're really comparing like what you see now on the Ultimate Fighter. It's like, all right, they got a ways to go, But this was a good fight. It was fun. It was entertaining. There was blood. There was some exchanges. There was a guillotine involved, a couple drops. I mean, you had a little bit of everything. And like, I was actually thinking about that because I think I had read on Twitter someone tried to compare it to the Stephen Bonner and the Forrest Griffin fight. And I was like, I can kind of see that. There was, they were getting after it. It was fun. It was exciting. And it definitely, I have a question though. So who didn't make weight? Peterson?
No. Erosa.
Erosa missed weight. So now he doesn't have a chance at the bonus.
Nope.
That sucks.
That sucks. Big time.
To have a fucking fight like that.
But it's the right. Hey, even though I would like to see him get the money, it's the right call. Hey, you got to make weight. You can't come in and not make weight and think you're going to get that bonus. There has to be some kind of penalty there, man.
I agree with you, but damn, man, they saved the show. I was
I know
this damn show off.
It was a great fight. And this is one where people go, what did you think about the judging? I mean, if you're a judge, you could have gone either way on this. It was so close and so back and forth, and there's just little bits and differences. Come on, man. It didn't
Yeah.
matter which way they went.
Yeah. It was a good fight, though.
Oh,
Good fight.
fantastic.
Good fight.
Fight of the night.
Definitely, it kept me tuned into the show, the rest of the card.
yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe the next one will be this good. You know? Castaneda versus Johns.
Dude, John Castaneda looked good. He looked good.
Fought a
man.
smart fight.
Yes.
Just the pressure.
Technically broke
yes.
his opponent down. Technically did all kinds of slick little movements. Great job of cutting off the cage. Great job with his footwork to take the right angles. Beautiful job of opening up at times with heavy shots, lightening it up with just touching him. That's the kind of performance you want to see out of someone. It was fantastic.
He, like, in this performance tonight, he reminded me a little bit of like a Nick and Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
Put the pressure, be calm, light
Yep.
strikes, and then throw hard. Light
Yep.
strikes and then throw hard.
That was
He
it.
fought a very smart fight. What he did was just, he took someone who he knew had power, and he knew that was someone that could probably
Someone
put him
that was
out in no time,
explosive. Yep.
and made him throw at times that he didn't want to throw and miss.
Yeah. Which made him tired.
And yeah, and then that's what makes him
Left
more
him
tired.
open,
When
and
you're
then he
when you're
kept hitting
throwing
him.
and missing, it's worse than, like, you know, when you're landing 5 and 6 punch combinations. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
When you miss and leave yourself open and you get touched a little bit and that little set of anxiety sits in, like, shit, I'm gonna get hit again. You know, and you back away and put your back to the fence, or you know, circle out, and there's a lot more adrenaline that gets going when you miss a shot because you're waiting for the counter. Whether it comes or it doesn't, your blood starts to go. You're like, crap, I gotta get out of here. The sense of anxiety, like, I'm gonna get hit, I'm gonna get kicked.
Yep.
So, and he was doing a lot of missing.
Yep.
He had some good moments in the fight as well. Miles John did, but
In the first
Castaneda
round.
just looked, just too much pressure, too much being relaxed and calm, coming forward, and once he sunk in that choke, you could just tell he was like, okay, it was done.
Yeah.
But overall, good performance by Castaneda.
Dabadook, guy we talked
expected-
about.
I expected more.
It was boring as hell.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
both
Sorry,
these guys,
man.
I expected this to be a barn burner, and it was okay. I'm not saying it was bad. It just wasn't what I was thinking it was going to be.
Yeah.
So
No, I know we talked about it on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. We were like, this should be a good fight.
yeah.
Trezano's tough, Dowdu's fast, and you know, like we expected it, but no, I was kind of dozing off a little bit. Sorry,
But-
man.
but-
I woke up hella early and just didn't get much going today.
But
so
you
I got
got to
to the
look.
fight,
You
so
got to
good.
give it up, man. We talked about it. Chidi Njokuani.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I said, man, he's had some big wins, fast finishes. Boom. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Jeez.
All I wanna say is, hey,
60, was
Chidi.
it 15, 16 seconds?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was 16 seconds.
16 seconds?
Yeah, 16 seconds.
16.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, Chidi, congratulations. You deserve that over your career and everything. I know that was a big moment for you. And the guy that you beat, Marc-Andre, he's a tough son of a bitch. That guy can take a big shot. It's just he never got to get, he never got to get on the track, man. He just came out. He threw the lazy kick kind of, and Chidi hit that right hand over the top, hit him right in the side of the ear, and that was trouble. But that's a great win.
Those are those type of fights that if you're Marc-Andre, you're thinking to yourself, man, I just did a 8-week camp and this is what happened.
This is what I did.
Shit.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, so he's going to go back just totally deflated back to camp, and he's going to try to get better, obviously, from that. But, I mean, there's not much you can do. You just got to work on the defense and the first couple of exchanges. You got to make sure you fill it out.
Yep.
And Chidi just came out and just boom, boom, and it was quick. And we talked about how fast and accurate he was. He's a really good kickboxer. I think, is he still with one kick?
Yeah.
Yeah, still with one kick. Yeah. So, congratulations to him, man. And I started reading somebody had posted or in Twitter, people were commenting, because there's so much hate towards, the guys that have fought in Bellator, or the people that, so then it came, people were commenting like, see, another Bellator fighter comes out and starches guys in the UFC. And I'm like, it's not about that, you guys. It really just comes down to,
Doesn't matter.
there's good fighters in every organization, everywhere.
That's right.
And if you guys don't believe him, look at DJ was considered one of the pound for pound best fighter in the world. And then Henry beat him, but then he went to one, and he hasn't had much. I mean, he's had some wins, but he's had some losses.
He's got some. Paulie Malignaggi was doing a podcast, and I was listening to him, and it was so nice to listen to a guy with a boxing background who says, he goes, it's not He goes, stop calling it the UFC. It's MMA, guys. Right? And it's like, hello, a guy that gets it. He goes, what do I care where someone's fighting? He goes, I see guys from the UFC go over to one and get beat. He goes, so those guys got to be better, right? It's like, it's individual fights, individual fighters. It doesn't matter. You know, it was just nice to see a guy like Chidi, who's been everywhere, fought hard, had good times, had bad times, had good performances, bad performances. It was good to see him. He goes to Dana White's Contender Series. He gets the win there. He looked good. He goes into his first UFC. For people that, you know, for you to understand the pressure that he put on himself going into this fight, because it's something that he's, 32, 33 years of age now, finally making it there. I mean, to go out there and to just do what he did, 16 seconds. I mean, that's like a dream come true for him, and he deserves it. And it was nice to see.
I agree. Scroll on down. Is that it? Was there any other fights below that?
Oh, yeah, there was fights below. We talked about Alexis Davis and you know, what was going to happen. It was exactly like we said.
Couple punches in the face and she's red.
Oh, she was purple. You know, but she got stuck in submissions and just kept trucking. And
she's a grinder, man.
She's tough. And she just wears her opponents out. Just with a constant pressure. She's always there. They can't get rid of her, and she just breaks them down. That was a very nice win. The one that I want to talk about, let's go to the very first fight of the night. I don't know how many people saw it. I don't know if you saw it.
I didn't see it.
It was Malcolm Gordon against Denise Bondar. And in this fight, if you look at it, it says verbal submission, arm injury. Bruce Buffer called it a submission due to technical submission. Bruce, I love you. There's no such damn thing. I don't know who told you what to say, or if you came up with that on your own. Guys, what this should have been. And if what happened in the fight is Malcolm Gordon ends up putting Denise into a arm bar at one point, a straight arm lock. He switches it over to the other arm, and I do believe when he switched it over to the other arm, I do believe he damaged, and you know what this is like when you get in a tight, arm lock, and you'll feel your elbow popping.
Mm-hmm.
And he had it. He rolls over with him, but Bondar's able to get out, and they get into a scramble, and Bondar gets to the point where he ends up posting on that arm to get himself up and puts weight and pressure, and the arm dislocates. Boom.
Ugh.
So there was no submission at the time that the arm went. So what you have is a TKO due to self-inflicted injury by Bondar. It's not a submission. And see, this is where we'll go back in time and people, oh yeah, he submitted him. No, he didn't. It was an injury based upon just weight. It was the weight of trying to push himself up, and his arm was, I think, already compromised by that straight arm lock. But yeah, it popped and it dislocated bad, so it was the end of the fight. But there were some people asking me about that, so that's the answer to that. It should have been TKO.
Yeah, if any of you guys want to see something like that, guys go to Hermes Franca and Rich Cronkleton in Miami.
Yeah, a little bit different. Yeah.
A little bit different, but it was one of those where we saw the arm and the elbow completely spin the opposite direction.
Well, you could also remember Shogun Hua when he fought Mark Coleman in Pride. Mark Coleman was trying to take him down, and he's got his legs, and Hua just post out to stop his fall. Arm dislocates.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yeah, just crazy, man. Just like the stuff that we've seen over the years in the sport, it's just nuts. And Rich still finished the fight.
Oh, yeah, I know. Rich Cronkleton he was tough as hell.
I was like throwing up in my mouth watching his elbow spin like that.
No, the best was Hermes Franca is looking at the referee and pointing to the elbow going, are you seeing what this is right here? Referee's like,
and then he just wiggled his arm out.
I know.
I think it was Hermes was just like, what the?
Hermes was sick.
This is nuts.
He wanted to stop fighting. He goes, I don't. This is horrible.
John, when you see somebody else's body, or like if you see your own, like when I did my thumb in the Benson fight, there was a couple times I looked down to defend the hands when he got to my side and had a body lock, and I went to like break his grip, and my thumb the bone
Folded back.
slid up into it slid up in my skin, up into my wrist.
Yeah.
And I looked down, and it was just one of those things like, what the?
I was
almost
watching
got
it
sick.
the whole time.
It was so.
And this
gross.
is, see, people ask all the time, well, don't you stop? No, if it's a finger, a toe, and the guy is fighting through it, I'm not going to stop the fight on him.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that can cause him permanent damage or it can cut an artery or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if he's tough enough to go, I'm going to let him go, even though, I see it. So I did see it. I saw it multiple times. It did some funky things.
John don't even let headbutts go. He knows.
Oh, I would never let a head. If you ever headbutted someone, I'd call you on it right away.
Of course. All right, Dave. Hey, let's get into some news. What do you got for news?
Well, actually, first we're going to do the main event for next week, and it's time to weigh in on the odds.
Weighing in on the odds. All right, here we go. Robert Whittaker is plus 210 at mybookie.ag. Make sure you guys use that promo code, weighing in. And then Israel Adesanya is minus 270.
Yes, sir.
4.5 is the over-under. 4.5 is the over-under.
4.5 rounds. How do you see this going? I'm telling you right now, I am going to say that I would put my money on Robert Whittaker. I think Izzy is a fantastic fighter. Yes, I know that he's got a win against Whittaker already, and he deserved that win. It was a fantastic performance, but it was a performance that I think Whittaker played into. I think Whittaker fought one of the worst fights that I've ever seen him fight. He was out of control. He was over-aggressive. He was wanting to punch a hole in Israel Adesanya's face, and that's not the way to go into a fight. I think he's much smarter coming into this fight. I'm not saying he can't lose, but he can definitely win. And when you got a guy that can win and he is a plus 210, hello, that's the guy I'm going to go with. I'm going to say that I would put my money on Robert Whittaker because he has a game plan. He knows there's a blueprint on how to beat Izzy at this point. Can he make that blueprint work? I can't say that for sure, but he definitely has the skills to do that. And if he can just put Izzy on his back for a round, it will change who Izzy is in that fight. It will change his ability to stop the second one. So it all depends. And as we said, this kind of like with Glover Teixeira when he fought Jan. You know, hey, if he gets that first takedown, look out. Well, Robert Whittaker gets this first takedown, and I guarantee you he's going to be looking for the takedowns. He gets it. Look out if he's able to hold on to it for a while and do any damage. The fight is going to change immensely at that time.
Yeah, I want you guys, we're going to talk about the Strickland fight again tonight. Hermansson didn't get the first takedown in the first round, and it was a snowball effect. He was forced to stand the rest of the fight pretty much. And the rest of his takedowns were second-guessing himself. They weren't aggressive. They weren't pushing him to the fence. Didn't have it. Didn't have it. And so Whittaker, he's got to make an effort to try and get one or two, at least in the first round. And even if they're not there to the ground, it would be nice if they were, but he's got to go to the well with conviction at least once around to see if he can get one, to keep Izzy guessing about it, to keep him thinking about it fresh on his mind. And then on top of that, like you said, like with the Glover situation, if he does get one in the first round and he's able to hold him down for, say, 3 to 3.5 minutes or 2.5 to 3 minutes, you're going to see the fight change, like you said, immensely. It's going to be a different style of fight from then on out, because once Whittaker knows he can get it and how much effort he had to put in to get it, the takedowns will potentially get easier as the fight goes on, because Izzy now is going to be concerned about the takedowns, which means that will open up the striking as well.
That will also
I got you
slow
thinking about
down Izzy's striking.
Yeah, his attack. So there's a lot of different ways. And honestly, I got to tell you, this is when you talk about, when we've mentioned this several times, fighters that are in a good place at the moment, those are the ones you got to be concerned about.
Yes.
Like when he fought the first time, he was going through a lot of mental stuff, not, home stuff, family stuff, gym stuff, whatever it was. He was going through a lot of stuff. And then the trash talking really got to him a little bit, just the lead up to it, a lot of pressure on him, being the defending champion, that kind of thing. It was a position he was just like, okay, he let it get to him. He's in a different spot now.
That's right.
His frame of mind is completely different. He's prepared for whatever Izzy says, whatever Izzy does. And I think overall, when like you said, he has the tools. Out of all the people that Izzy's fought, he's got the tools to stand with him as well as wrestle him and take him down and threaten submissions and be on top and use the ground and pound. He's got that potential. The rest of the guys in that weight class, I don't know if they got that. You know, you look at those guys. Dave, can you pull that up, please, for me? The 185-pound weight class. When I start looking at those weight classes, John, I start looking at that bracket of rankings. I don't know of a lot. Like I saw Sean Strickland tonight. He's not standing with Izzy. I don't think he's going to be able to.
I think Izzy's too slick for him for what Sean does, especially for Sean's rate and his power. It's not the greatest matchup.
Yeah. And as much as, I mean, like with Derek Brunson, on the feet, he's a little slower. You know, his wrestling now is getting a little slower. Like, it's hard. Like, he's got the wrestling, the pedigree. We know he can do work when he gets to the top position.
Yeah.
But he slows down so much. And in a 5-round fight, I'm going Izzy. Because by the second round, you know, going into the third, Brunson's not the same wrestler and he's not the same striker. And Izzy is just on point. You know, you get to Cannonier. Cannonier's tough. He's a dog. But I don't know. I think the movement, the style, the kicks, all those things are going to give Cannonier some fits. You know, Vittori's already been proven that it's not going to get done. I mean, he's got to have to try to get him down. He could stand with them. In that first fight, he spent so much time trying to get the takedown that he should have stood a little bit more. I think he would have had a better chance.
That was the second fight.
Second fight. Okay. You know what I mean? So when we're talking about like this, I think Whittaker is probably the number one guy to really give him the full dose of a full MMA fight and have a chance to really beat him. And if I'm looking at the MyBookie odds, you know, what is it? What did I go back to that, Dave?
Plus 210 and minus 270.
Plus 210. I'll put 100 down.
Yeah.
I'll put 100 down all day long. You know what I mean? Let's do it. You know, what about the over-under? Over-under's 4.5.
You know, I look at that and I say, if Izzy wins the fight, I think it'll be under that. If Whittaker wins the fight, I think it's over.
Yeah.
So it really depends. And since with me saying I would put my money on Whittaker, well, then I'm putting my money on the over.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I probably wouldn't mess with those odds only because, you know, Whittaker, I think, is going to probably get the decision out of this. It's going to be a hard-fought fight, but I do agree with you. If it does finish early, it's going to finish because Izzy got the finish.
Yep.
You know, on the feet. So, But hey, that's our waiting on the odds. So if you guys, we'll do a full breakdown of the card on our Wednesday morning episode. So check us out on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. And Dave, what else news you got for us?
All right, let's get this first piece right here. So Jon Jones on February 4th, which was Friday, tweeted out the greatest heavyweight of all time versus the greatest light heavyweight of all time. Who wants to see it? I'm game. So I don't know why he's talking about DC and Stipe, but
oh man, Dave's
good call.
Really good at being a troll. I love it. I guess I'm assuming they're gonna make that an interim title.
Yeah. If Francis is gonna get that surgery, I think you're gonna see another interim heavyweight title. I hate that. I think they're
doing whatever they.
But
can
well, hold on. At least if Francis is getting the surgery and he's going to be out for a long time, I'm okay with it. Where I'm not okay with it is when they did it between Cyril and Derek. That was like, there's no reason for that. You've got a guy that's willing to fight. You know, just not happy with what you're giving him and stuff. So.
Yeah, I think honestly, like the only reason why they're doing this is because Jon wants to fight for the title. Like I can't imagine them doing this for say Cyril and Stipe. Like Jon coming up, it's got to be straight for a title shot, being the longest ranked light heavyweight champ. Whatever,
and that's okay.
Yeah,
that's understandable.
Yep. Yeah, it's you can't have him go up to heavyweight and then him not fight for the title like right off the bat.
Well, you could,
but they won't.
And
it's not a good marketing tool. Like you can't have your best light heavyweight ever go up to heavyweight and be like, "Yeah, we're just here to fight.
I'm just here to have a good time."
No. I mean,
I agree. It should be for the title, and I do believe that's exactly. And I think Jon knows it's coming, and he's just starting to wet the whistle on it and get people's attention towards it, and that's okay. That's what he's supposed to.
How does that fight go?
Jon is too good for Stipe at this time. You know, as far as nothing.
John, why are you such a hater on Stipe, man?
Shut up, stupid. You
Why
know
are you
I
hating
love
on Stipe?
I love Stipe. But Stipe is getting older, and it's the wrestling that for Stipe that usually works for him. He's got the ability to, you know, to have that and have it in his back pocket where you can either use it or at least threaten it. People have to, you know, fight a certain way. He's not going to be able to threaten it in any fashion with Jon that's going to cause him a problem. And Jon can do it in reverse to him. And, you know, there's no heavyweight other than Verdum that was good off his back.
Yeah.
And even at times Verdum wasn't good off his back. So it just depends on, you know, if Stipe gets put on his back, it's bad times. If Jon got put on his back, it's bad times. It's a scramble back to your feet. But Jon's submission game is a lot better.
Do you think if Jon gets taken down by Stipe, he's in trouble?
I think he's going to be able to hold on with Stipe. Stipe doesn't have a submission game. It's not, you know, it's not that he can't pull off a submission. It's just not. That's not his attack. That's not what he does. He uses ground and pound. He can, you know, get a, you know, a Kimura. He can get an Americana. He can get those kind of things if they're there. He can get the choke. It's just not his bread and butter. That's not what he goes to. So, I don't know. I just look at it that, you know, usually, and I say with any, if you're a heavyweight and your back's on the ground, get up. You know, do what you got to right now. Don't stay there because it's a bad place. Jon's got a good submission game, especially from the top. You know, he can pull off submissions. He's tapped.
He submits a lot of people with his elbows.
he's with his elbows. Or he's also submitted a lot of black belts with actual submission holds.
Yeah.
So he's good.
Yeah. No, he is.
Yeah.
He is. All right, next.
Interesting thing that came out of what's his name, Benson Henderson.
What's his name?
Sorry, I was trying to think about who was the person that said it.
Put some respect on his name, dog. Put some respect on his name.
There were so many names I had to get them in order. So Benson Henderson says that BJ Penn is a lightweight GOAT, and it's not even close. And so he's quoted as saying, it's easy, hands down BJ, not even close. You don't even got to say his full name, just one word, BJ, and you know who it is. The greatest lightweight all time, without a doubt, hands down BJ Penn. And then he goes on to say, out of 29-0 Khabib fought, go look at the records of the 29 people he beat, and then go look at the records of guys BJ beat. Go look at the records the guys BJ lost to. Go look at where they fought. And essentially, you know, that's his point.
Well, we've talked about this before. We've had this discussion, and we've said, you know, are these the two best lightweights in the history of the sport? We said, yeah, we do believe that they are.
Yeah.
You know, but again, it's an opinion, and if it's Josh's opinion or my opinion or Benson's opinion, he thinks it's BJ. That's great. You know, maybe he's right. Yeah. You know? But it's real simple when one guy is what's BJ 16-14 or 16-15 as far as record,
something like that. Yeah.
And one guy's 29-0. Nah,
16-15.
I'm sorry. I'm still gonna say that Khabib is the best lightweight that there's ever been. Just is.
It's
16-14.
I think I think what people really get confused on is that BJ didn't do it all in one weight class.
No, he moved
That's
around.
The thing.
A lot of.
He moved around.
A lot of weight classes.
He fought a heavyweight. Fought at 185.
He fought a middleweight,
170.
heavyweight. That's right.
He fought everywhere. You know, I mean, like when he fought Machida was 220.
Yep.
You know, so you can't look at his record and be like, oh yeah, let's compare it to Khabib's, where Khabib fought at 155 pretty much his whole career. I don't know if he had any fights before that were lighter because he used to be a lot leaner before he got to the UFC. I just look at it that way. Like, I mean, when I look at it, BJ helped change the sport in so many different ways. Yep. You know, he was the first one to really stick it to the UFC, and then he ran off, started his own promotion, you know, and then he came back and made a ton of money. I mean, he did things that just nobody understood. He's like, what are you doing? This is the UFC. And he's like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'll go and start my own promotion and bring in the best lightweight that everyone's talking about and talking to Origami, and then I'll smash him in front of everyone in my own promotion. So, like, he did things that
pretty good plan.
Other guys, yeah, it was a brilliant plan, actually. But he did things that other guys wouldn't even have fathomed to do, especially at that time. There was no real money in it, you know, and he was paying for it out of his own pocket to fly Gomi, to Hawaii and to bring him into the promotion and pay him. And I was there when they negotiated the rules. And it was hilarious to watch Gomi say, so we do elbows on the ground or elbows to the top of the head. And BJ was just with a smile on his face, whatever you want. And then, Gomi like head stomps, like whatever you want, just whatever you want. He just kept telling him, whatever you want the rules to be, I'm here. And I was like, oh shit, like this is for real, and I trained with BJ for a long time, at AKA. And, he's a really good friend of mine, but I don't compare the two. If you want to say who the most dominant lightweight was, it was Khabib.
It has to be.
Like when I look at who really helped shape the sport, BJ. Absolutely.
Where you could say BJ helped shape the lightweight division.
Absolutely.
More than any other fighter. Okay, I'll go with that. Because he did, because at a time when they were trying to get the lightweights, going, and then it didn't work, and they were going to get rid of them, and they did all kinds of things with it. He was one of the reasons they kept it, and it was because of the way he fought and how dominant he could be at times, and he had a huge influence on the UFC itself.
John, tell me this: outside of Chuck Liddell, because of the mohawk and the tattoos on his head, who was the most famous fighter that the UFC had? Maybe GSP? Like, I'm saying, like, this is before, like, kind of, he was already around when GSP was around. Like, before, like, BJ was there before GSP came.
Yeah.
He was there for years before that. And when he would already fought for the title before GSP
first fight in the UFC
came.
was UFC 31.
Yeah. Against Joey Gilbert.
That's right.
Yep. I mean, but my point is that, like, when I'm talking about, like, not even Randy Couture was as big of a star when BJ started getting onto the scene.
Randy was big.
Popular.
Randy was pretty big because people loved him because he was the old guy.
He was a good guy. He was a good guy, though. But I'm saying, like, when it came down to it, when it came to like star power, if you're gonna look at
the top three star powers at the time, Randy would probably been fourth, but you said him. It would have been Chuck. Chuck was huge. And a lot of it was, the mohawk look and everything. And, but it was also the way Chuck fought. Everyone looked at Chuck and, he was just always looking for the knockout stuff. GSP would be the other one. Obviously Anderson Silva was coming in about that time, but, no one knew that he had an entire career before that. So people weren't too heady on Anderson at the time. And then BJ, he would have been the guy that you're looking at going, that guy's special. And then that's why when they were putting BJ, GSP, it was just kind of becoming a guy, and they had the BJ versus GSP fight. I think that was UFC 58, and it was phenomenal. And I think George got a split decision on him or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got to remember, BJ had already left the UFC when GSP kind of started making his run, and then BJ came back. You know what I mean? And then he made his own run,
I think wasn't that BJ's first fight back? Was against George?
George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
He demanded it. He said, no, I'm not coming back unless you give me that fight. Everyone keeps telling me he's the best fighter. Well, I left as the welterweight champ. I'm going to come back. That's what he said.
Yeah. And he came back as a welterweight. Dummy.
You give me that guy. Yeah, dummy. Yeah. You give me that guy. That's the guy that I want to fight. And he went out and did it, man. Yeah. You got to remember, he started his Rumble on the Rock, and they ended up selling it to Elite XC.
Yep.
And I mean, he made money on it. He did a lot of good things throughout the sport. When I look at the most dominant fighter I think I've ever seen has been Khabib. Like, in terms of really never lost a round. Like, he just dominated every fighter. And when he walked in, it was just domination.
More 10-8 rounds than any guy ever.
Yeah.
That was like,
I mean, just insane.
Geez.
Yeah, so when you're talking about lightweight, you could say it's Khabib. But when it comes down to who impacted the sport the most,
different.
And in all weight classes, it's BJ Penn. So
next,
let's
go, baby.
All right, Chad Mendes comes out and says, kind of making this point about the whole money thing in UFC right now. He's saying he's going to make more money in his fight at BKFC than Francis did in that heavyweight fight with $600,000.
Well, all I say is, way to go, Chad Money Mendes. That's why we had him on our show talking about this stuff. Look, Chad is in a position now. He's in control of his own, train, man. And the whole thing is he's able to get sponsorships. He's got the whole thing with his hunting and his hunting business and everything he does. He gets a ton of sponsorships off of that. So this only adds to it. And then the money he's going to make to fight in bare knuckle, God bless him. Way to go, man. I am freaking happy for him. And if this is what it takes for guys to realize, why are you fighting? If there was one thing that I was listening to Juliana Pena on Joe Rogan's podcast, and I thought she did a great job because she talked about Gil Melendez and what Gil told her as far as, hey, is the money right? Are you doing this for the money? Because that's why you end up fighting. Look, people go towards fighting in the beginning because you like it. It's kind of, makes you feel good. It's exciting. You get an adrenaline, charge out of it, and you're pretty good at it. So I'll keep doing it. And I do this for free. And you are. Sometimes it's costing you a lot of money. But eventually, if you're good enough and you're fighting better people, you realize I do this for money.
Yeah. Okay.
And you need to figure that out pretty quick. And one of the things she was talking about is, hey, if the money's right, I'm ready to fight. If it's not good business. I'm not going to do it. And that's what every fighter needs to figure out. Look, Juliana Pena did one thing that I thought was fantastic is she kept on pushing for that fight, with Amanda, and they didn't give it to her. She kept pushing it. And even then she lost to Jermaine, but she kept pushing, and she took a quick fight against Sarah McMahon and got the win and kept pushing. But it was always about pushing towards that title. Now that she's got the title, guess what she's asking for? Money. Good for her. That's the way it's supposed to be. That is the way it's supposed to be. And if you are doing this for any other reason than to financially take care of your family and put yourself in a position to where when your career is over, you don't have to go stand there as a Walmart greeter, then you're doing it for the wrong reason. The reason you do this is money. It's called prize fighting. Whether it's boxing or MMA, it's prize fighting. You're fighting for a purse. Make as much money and don't give a damn about who is the guy signing the check.
Yep. Well said. I exactly. I look at the Eddie Alvarez approach in the sport.
How many times have we said and talked about it?
Yeah.
It's is
the approach
what's
that
important.
I had as well. I always went where the biggest paycheck was.
Yeah.
What
did Jeremy Stevens just do? He got cut by the UFC. He's been with them for what? Jeremy Stevens was in the UFC, I think at UFC 71. I think that was his first one against Dean Thomas. Okay? And think of how long that run is. Think of that span of fights. And eventually, what did they do with him? See ya. Yeah. But he had a chance to go to the PFL and make good money, and he takes that. Good. I don't care that Jeremy Stevens is fighting for the PFL. I will watch him fight because it's Jeremy Stevens, and he's a hell of a fighter, and he's fun to watch. Do I care that it's got PFL on his glove instead of UFC? Not at all. Doesn't matter who he's fighting for. It only matters that I get to watch a guy that I enjoy watching fight. That's it.
I agree. Next.
So Brett Okamoto from ESPN says, per sources, Max Holloway has been medically cleared from the injury that prevented him from fighting Alexander Volkanovski in March. He will resume training and is offered to weigh in as a backup to the fight on April 9th with Korean Zombie.
That's a lot of weight cut for him, man. He's a big guy. So, I get it. I understand, but I'd hate to be the one on hold for that. I would just wait. Get your body fully healthy and just take care of yourself and wait for the next whoever wins that fight.
I just look at it.
He has to cut a ton of weight, John. I don't know if it would be worth it. And how good he is. Yeah.
I agree with you completely. It's like, why rush it? You got hurt. Okay. If you're healthy, continue to just train and stay healthy. Keep yourself, in a position where when they give you enough time and offer you a fight that's down the road that you can, in a safe and healthy way, get down in weight. Because, look, I will tell you, Max Holloway, when he fought Jose Aldo, weighed in at 145 pounds, championship weight, 145 on the nose. Night of the fight, 178.
I'm not even 178 right now. That's insane.
And that's safe. And so you look and you go, this is why if people don't remember that, he had that shot at fighting Khabib.
Yeah.
At 155 and he couldn't make weight.
He couldn't make weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he does get bigger and,
Balloon.
Yeah.
Balloons up.
Well, dude, there's a lot of good food in Hawaii, man. You know that.
It's like John in Tennessee.
Ooh, baby.
Next.
All right. Last one is Juliana Pena and Amanda Nunes are the new TUF coaches for UFC TUF 30.
She made a good pitch on Joe Rogan, man.
Yeah, she did.
She made a good pitch, and I couldn't agree with her more. And here's the thing. They were supposed to offer, like, myself and Pettis, because Pettis got hurt for our title fight. They were going to offer us that. And then, I don't know. I think Dana never liked me, so I
wonder why.
It wasn't going to happen, yeah. But regardless, but she's making a push for it, like you said. She made a push. She made a push for the title shot. She finally got it, and now she's making a push for the Ultimate Fighter. She got it. I mean, she's saying all the right things and she keeps pushing forward. I'm good. I'm happy for her, and she's from Spokane, Washington, man. Like, not a lot of people come out of there successful. I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. But I mean, the old Spokane
Michael
was
Chiesa,
like
I did not say that.
Town.
Sam Cecilia, I apologize for my partner.
Spokane. I lived in Coeur d'Alene for a while, man. And like Spokane has an old mining town, old brick buildings, and you know what I mean? Just, but they've done a lot to it now. It's actually gotten really
Spokane's
nice.
Actually nice. It's not.
It's nice now. It wasn't nice then. But but no. Regardless, I mean, like the success. I mean, like it's nice to see guys like Chiesa and Cecilia and Amanda and fighters that come out of that area. It's great to see, and she's getting what she deserves. I believe. I'm happy for her.
Yeah, I think it's a great pairing. Amanda, I think, needs some time to get herself straight, get herself back and ready to go again. It'll build up the hype of that rematch. It'll just intensify it. So it's the perfect pairing. I think it's great. And I think Juliana, again, did a great job of putting it in people's minds. Hey, this is what should happen. If you want something to happen, you got to make it happen. And you're not going to get it by sitting there not saying something. Good job, Juliana.
Yep, old saying, closed mouths don't get fed.
That's it.
All right, guys. Well, hey, I want to thank you guys for listening to the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We talked about a lot. We covered a lot, and we supported one of our friends. So make sure you guys go to ProWrestlingTees.com/weighing
make sure you go to Weighing In. Absolutely.
Hit the subscribe and the bell so you guys know when our shows drop. We drop them at different times, sometimes throughout the week, based on John and I's schedule. But we're pretty consistent with Sunday or Monday or morning drops, as well as Wednesday morning drop. So we also have a Thursday morning drop, too, for the Weighing Interjection show. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/weighing in. Pick up one of our new Beast Mode shirts that are out. And it's a cool little design. And then we've got a bunch of other selections there for you. A plethora of shirts for you guys to choose from. Use that promo code and still get 20% off on our shirts. And then hopefully you guys enjoy it, man. And I want to thank you guys for continuing to support our channel and the Weighing In podcast.
Everyone out there, thank you for listening. You make this fun for us to do. And all the people that come up to me and Josh and tell us how much you enjoy our podcast. Thank you. We love hearing it. We love hearing, what you like, even sometimes what you don't, but not normally that. But we just want to tell you thank you for tuning in. And we, Josh and I, the two of us, will see you